Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a very long-term review of the Cedar Summit Trek 1 sort of ultralight down sleeping bag. Now I've owned this for a long time. I think I've owned about 7 years now, and it's been on a lot of wild camps with me, and it's about time I gave it a review and talk about how reliable it's been, what a good purchase, and whether in the long term I plan on keeping it. Now it is a one season sleeping bag, but it's got a pretty decent comfort rating of 5 degrees. It's got a 650 fill power ultra dry down loft, and Cedar Summit do make very good quality gear. Now it does pack down pretty small, but obviously it's only 650 fill power, so it's going to be slightly heavier than some of the more modern down bags where they're like 850, even 900 fill power, which obviously need less filling for the same temperature rating. And the other reason why you might think the pack size is a little bit bulky is the regular wide version. So it is a very wide sort of rectangular sleeping bag. And when I bought this 6 or 7 years ago, quilts weren't even on my radar as being an option, so I went for something as big as possible because I wanted room to move around in the bag. So that's why the pack size is a little bulky, but actually when you get the sleeping bag out and realise just how big it is, it all makes a lot of sense, and the pack size actually looks remarkably small. Now this is my largest sleep mat. It's a Unigear Camp P3 regular wide version. So obviously when you've got a big rectangular sleeping bag, you're going to really need a bigger sleep mat to take advantage of it. Otherwise it's a bit pointless because the sleeping bag just goes over the side and you move around in the bag and just don't have any support for various parts of your body. So we'll show now just how much this bag expands when you take it out of the compression sack. So it does come out a decent size, but it will really start to loft up once it gets a little bit of air in it. And that's a great thing about down sleeping bags, is they can pack down, but they loft up so brilliantly compared to any kind of synthetic materials I've ever tested on the channel or used in the past. So you can see there it does take up almost all of this mat with a decent hood. You've got your normal toggles to cinch the hood right up as well, and you've got a nice double zip. And another feature of this bag, you've also got an additional zip at the bottom, so you can actually unzip the foot box if you wanted to, if you're finding it too warm. And that is a separate zip to the main zip. So the main zip goes down to about there, and there's a separate zip at the bottom if you want to get your foot box opened up in warm weather. Now I've used this in a variety of conditions, and I've got some thoughts and feelings on it around this sort of wide space. Now, I bought this because I was really not enjoying mummy sleeping bags. I just found that I wasn't getting very comfy in them. I couldn't stretch my legs out enough, so I went for this sort of ultra wide sleeping bag as a resolution for that. But it does have its drawbacks. One of the drawbacks I've found is that the temperature rating is 5 degrees, but I wouldn't necessarily trust that. Because it's a much wider sleeping bag, I found my legs and my bottom half get really cold because it's just so wide at the bottom that you've got so much bag to heat up, and perhaps I've just got skinny or not very fat legs, but my legs get really cold. My legs really struggle to warm this sleeping bag up. So if I was going out in 5 degrees, I'd have to use a sleeping bag lining with it as well, because you trap the air much closer to you. At the top of this bag, it is really, really wide, which again is great if you're a bigger person. This is the kind of sleeping bag that's absolutely ideal for you. But if you're a smaller person, you sleep a bit cold, you've got so much space to try and warm up, it just doesn't really happen. And it's really only a summer bag. Another drawback I've noticed recently is that when I try to move around in a bag, if I turn over, because I'm a side sleeper and I tend to sleep one side for a while, then roll to the other side, I find the sleeping bag rolls over with me a lot of the time. So at some point in the night I wake up basically with the hood over my face and not behind my head. And that has been quite annoying. As I said earlier, like, quilts were not a thing when I bought this, or in my they weren't on my radar at all. So now I've used quilts, I've realised that you get all the benefits of a really wide sleeping bag, but none of the drawbacks. You can roll over to your heart's content, and the quilt is nicely tucked under your sleep mat and tied off, so you don't get any movement at all. You get some of the temperature rating for a lot less bag, a lot smaller pack size and all the rest of it. So this bag, I think in my camping life now, has become a bit redundant because 9 times out of 10, I'd always rather take a quilt. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this sleeping bag because I've got 2 quilts and I've got the Cedar Summit Ember EB1 and I've got the Glow one as well. So 2 summer bags, quilts. One of them's synthetic, one of them's down, and they both do an amazing job, and they both do what I wanted this bag to do. They allow me the freedom to move around without any of the drawbacks that this bag has. They're not going to roll around with you, and you can cinch them right down so you don't have so much bag to heat up. So I found quilts a lot better than this bag, but the reason I've stuck with Cedar Summit when I've gone for the quilts is that the build quality on Cedar Summit is absolutely amazing. 7 years old, still like new. I mean, I do look after my gear, and I think it's quite hard to damage the sleeping bag unless you're sort of getting in it and sliding back down the mountain when you finish camping. But having said that, you know, the zips still work perfectly, all the cinching things, all the buttons, all that kind of stuff. The material is really robust. It's been just a really, really great sleeping bag. So as I said earlier on in the year, if you do watch my channel regularly, I wanted to do some reviews of stuff I've owned for a long time because I know the temptations. I buy new things, I'm exactly the same. I buy new things, I show it on the channel after like one use or my first use. Because obviously you want to try and get the videos out whilst these things are new. You can't buy this bag anymore. You do see them on eBay occasionally. I've also got the Trek 3 as well, which is comfort rated to -5, and that's more of a mummy shape. Amazing bag, I'm definitely keeping that one. But yeah, long term, this is an absolutely brilliant bag. It's never let me down. It's just a really, really high quality bit of kit.
So good morning. The sleep last night confirmed what I don't like about the sleeping bag, basically. It was much colder than I thought last night, and I only had shorts with me, so my legs were a little bit cold in the sleeping bag. Again, it just took forever for them to warm up the massive sort of foot box. So they're warm enough now, but last night, the first couple of hours in the sleeping bag weren't that pleasant because every time you move in the sleeping bag, you just hit masses and masses of cold spots. So wouldn't have been the same if I had my quilt. If I had my quilt, I'd have cinched it right down the bottom. I wouldn't have had that issue. So there wasn't really any way of doing that with this sleeping bag. So it does confirm my sort of feelings that I will sell the sleeping bag just because quilts now offer much more functionality for a much smaller and lighter pack size. So yeah, it is a really, really good sleeping bag in terms of quality and finish and durability and how long it's lasted without any issues whatsoever. Cedar Summit do make good quality stuff, but now I've tried quilts, I'm just not going to go back to this kind of sleeping bag. I've still got the Cedar Summit Trek 3, which I'll probably review in the build up to winter because that's come right to -5. That's a fantastic sleeping bag because it's all more of a mummy shape. You don't get any of the issues you get with this regular wide, really big version of sleeping bag. It's one I'll definitely use during those colder periods. I don't have yet a quilt for colder conditions. But yeah, just wanted to catch up with a bit of a gear I've used for a long time and do a longer term review of it really. So the Cedar Summit Trek 1, fantastic sleeping bag. But if you buy the regular wide version for extra space and stuff, you're probably way, way better off with a quilt. But if you find them used for cheap, then the quality is there, the durability is there, so do snag one for summer use. So I hope the video has been vaguely interesting to anyone who's seen a Trek 1 on eBay or on a selling site and wants to know a bit more about it. Really, really good quality bag. It'll last you well. Just beware of slightly cold if you're getting the wide version. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, a huge thanks as always, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.